Hello and everyone. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 153 of Retro Fandango. I am a co-host, Buried on Mars, also known as Kevin, and I'm here with my buddy Richard, also known
Hello.
as Rambox, the.
Mm-hmm.
And in this episode, we're going to be talking about movies, maybe some games, maybe some TV shows.
Who are you
Here we go.
talking to?
I am getting to the intro before you delay it for 16 hours.
You are
getting it
looking
out there.
quite professional today.
That's right. Yeah, I'm wearing my shirt. Well, I
You
actually,
got a button-down shirt with a collar on.
well, when it's really hot out, I actually prefer these kind of shirts because I find them a lot cooler. And then if it gets really hot, I can take a little button down.
Ooh, yeah.
Let the air get in there.
Let the air get in and let a few eyes wander down to that chest hair.
Well, if that happens, then so be it. I'm not judging.
Can you make this picture bigger
Of you?
of both of us? Because it's like we're tiny little squares on my screen. Is that up to you or is that up to me?
Do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this.
Well, I guess that's good then.
I don't know. I don't know why it's small on your screen. It looks normal to me.
I don't know.
But
Not
I
remembering much.
for the first time since this whole pandemic started, I actually went out and bought something at a store.
Oh my!
That wasn't in a grocery store or didn't involve my car, right?
Oh,
because
okay.
I did have to get an oil change at some point, and I did have to replace the battery in my car at some point. So, but today I actually went.
You went out and bought something just for fun. Something
Yeah.
you don't need.
Well, need is that's a slippery slope, whether I actually need it or not. I don't know if I need it. I would say no, I don't actually need it. I was getting by fine without one, but I haven't had one for about 4 months now. And it was time that I actually replaced my laptop that had passed away, the soundboard for this show. Unfortunately, it's not set up for this episode because I just bought it. I just got it like an hour ago, but I got myself a new laptop.
Hey, congratulations. Look at
Still
you.
in the box. It's a Rogue Zephyrus. I don't know what the hell that word is.
Yeah, me.
Zephyrus? I don't know. It's a G14 anyways. Asus. So that's
So you
where I'll
had
be
to go
doing
do that in person? You couldn't just order it online? Had to go check all the specs and all that?
Well, I could have ordered it online, but it would have just taken longer for it to get here. So I just said, screw it. I'll just go pick it up. Plus, in the mail yesterday, I got some masks.
Whoa.
That's right.
Dracula, Mummy, Wolfman? What kind of mask you got?
Nothing that cool. It's actually pretty lame. It's actually the lamest. It's that stupid Star Wars thing that people keep. That gross Star Wars thing.
Ew.
Not only that, it's the lame Force Awakens Star Wars.
Oh, ew.
Yeah.
Why did you order that?
I actually didn't order it. My mommy made it for me.
Oh, hey. Well, look at that.
And my mom still thinks I love Star Wars, no matter how many times I tell her. She's like, "Have you seen that new Star Wars?" I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't really care for it." And then it's still like, she puts Star Wars stickers in my birthday card and all that stuff because it's just can't.
Sweet.
But
That's
I thought,
sweet.
but it looks pretty cool. I'll have to take off my headphones, but I'll give you a demonstration.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
This
Even got a little
exclusive
thing for your
YouTube
nose.
content.
Wrap that around there. Hey,
Oh,
what do
you
you
got to
think?
go full screen for this. Yeah.
I don't know how to put myself full. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, that's it. There you go.
Oh, look at that. Aren't you the coolest?
Sorry if you're listening to the audio here. You're missing out. But I think it looks pretty good. I feel like a bandito in a Western.
So what have you been wearing before this?
We had some medical masks, but I haven't been going out. It's just Sarah goes out and does it. Hold on. Get these off.
What kind of mask did Sarah get?
She was just folding up a bandana. She had a few bandanas, and she would put
Oh, I mean,
hair.
your mom didn't make one for her too?
Oh no, she did. She made. I actually only got Star Wars ones. I got like three of these that are all the same. Sarah got like three different colors. And one's a frozen one, and some other ones. Yeah.
Well, no, maybe it wasn't my mom. I think it was my sisters. I have gotten so many like Star Wars gag gifts over the years because yeah, they just assume you like Star Wars for
Yeah.
everything. So I've
Yep.
gotten Wookiee cookbooks and other garbage.
And he's like, yeah,
All good intentions, but
sure, yeah.
comes in, goes out. I feel really bad. I had to stop them from sending stuff because they're spending money on postage, to send this stuff over.
Well, not only that, like material right now to sew things is in
Hmm.
high demand because people are making tons of masks and that, so it's hard to come by.
Yeah.
So my mom had been looking for Star Wars material to make me a mask since April. She said I
Oh,
started in April and I started like, trying to find it and I finally found you some Star Wars stuff. Okay. At least it's not Dukes of Hazzard and I have the freaking Confederate flag everywhere, right? So and I think it got me some cred with the guy at the computer store because that was a little bit of an ordeal. Because what I did try to do was order it online, and so I'd only have to go to the pickup window at the
right.
store
Hmm.
instead of having to go through the store, find a guy. Hey, I'm looking for this. Go in the back and all that. So I walked in there and they had masks and hand sanitizer right at the door. So that was plus. And the guy standing right there, and he's like, "Can I ask you to use some hand sanitizer?" I'm like, "Absolutely, no problem." Put that hand sanitizer, like, so direct me to the pickup window. So he points me over there, and I'm supposed to wait until I get an email right from them
Hmm.
before I go in and pick this thing up. But it was in Newmarket, which is about a half an hour drive for me. And I had this show to do today. So I'm like, okay, I can't be messing around. I need to get this thing. And I hadn't got an email from them. So I said, screw it. I'm just going to go there and find out what's going on. So I went, so when I went in there and I go to the pickup window, I'm like, look, I don't have the confirmation email yet, but I'm here right now and I'd like to buy this thing. Can I just get it? So he types in the number, the order number, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no one has done the online orders yet today. We're very short staffed. We only put in so many people in the store since this whole thing started, so no one has looked at it yet." I'm like, "Okay, but I'm here now. Can I just buy this thing?" And he's like, well, what I can do is get a guy to look at it right now, and it'll take about 20 or 30 minutes for him to process the thing." And I'm like, "But I'm here right now. Can't I just," and I just kind of adjusted my Star Wars mask a little. "Can't you just do something?" And he looks at you like, "Oh, Star Wars fan. Maybe I should do something for him." He's like, "You know what I'll do? I will cancel the old order and we'll just start up a new order right now and I'll go get that for you right now." I'm like, "That would be awesome." And he drops
Yeah.
everything he's doing and he runs to the back. And I'm like, "Wait, you don't have to run. I don't want you to trip and fall." But he just took off and then ran all the way back with my computer and boom, it's ready to go. So
Well, there you go. Yeah.
suck up to the
You
Star
rock
Wars
that.
fans.
Hmm. Take advantage.
Yeah.
All you got to do is was it kind of like a Jedi mind trick as
Yeah.
you stroke that mask.
Star Wars. But everyone, I was impressed once again. Everyone seemed to be wearing masks. Everyone didn't seem to have any issues or anything like that. So
Oh, good for you. It's getting a little lazy around here.
yeah.
My wife and I went to City Hall for something last week, and it's a multi-level building. You go down the first floor; it's most of your basic services, and they got those acrylic screen barriers, the plastic up everywhere, and just about all the workers you see, everybody's got the mask on, all sanitizers everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had to go upstairs for something, and it was around lunchtime. And it's very common for people to be selling lunch boxes in big office buildings. The service comes in, they wheel around the carts. Everybody wants to buy something, and typically the people that do that work in food service. They're always wearing masks and gloves and hair nets and things. That's just common practice, aside from Corona. But the people we saw were not wearing masks, and they're just wheeling around everybody's food. It's like, that's kind of weird. We get up to the floor we had to go to, and then suddenly all the workers up there, about 50% of them not wearing masks. So in our heads, we were shaming everybody.
That's not good to hear. You know, it's funny because Sarah used to work at a hospital. She used to work in the food service in the hospital, and they would wear masks all the time. Like when she was making sandwiches and salads and that, they'd have to wear gloves and masks, even when there wasn't any COVID thing or anything like that. It's like it was so.
Right.
She's like, this is just commonplace. Now, when they were serving food, they didn't have to because all the food was already covered in those, like it's already done and prepped. And so they're just serving trays that were already done. But yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
hello,
Ryan, Rocket Sauce is here.
Very good. All right, we got one viewer.
He's
nice.
applauding something.
I think that's a wave. He's saying hi.
Is it a wave?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it looked like hands clapping. I thought he liked your mask.
He didn't see it. He hasn't seen it yet. He'll have
to. He was getting over the shock. Just like, it's a wave. I'm sorry. Yeah. Hey, speaking of Rocket Sauce, not on my agenda, but I did just rewatch First Blood Part 2 a couple days ago.
Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you do that to yourself? Why?
Oh, well, it's a step down from the first film.
Big time. But step down. It's a freaking fall off a cliff.
Well, there are lots of cliffs in those movies. Just want to live, Rambo.
That was the worst, man. That was the worst.
You know, the worst part, and I can enjoy the movie for its fun parts, and watching Beefcake Stallone run around with that machine gun. But yeah, like when the actress who they hired for that clearly spoke perfect English.
Yeah.
And they told her just don't say every third word.
She speaks like a caveman. She doesn't have an East Asian accent. She just speaks like a caveman.
Where you go, Rambo. You not expendable, Rambo.
Before I forget, let's do the house cleaning here. Quick Save Club is playing Antichamber. This is the last month for it. Next month, Fallout New Vegas. And then in the fall, we'll be playing Torchlight 2. And I believe you could still pick it up for free on Epic Games. So make sure you do that. Good work. CC Prime is playing Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Nutsack. And RF Gen is playing Earthbound. So the Super Nintendo is getting mega love this month.
It's going to be smoking hot.
For Fandango, we are doing Josh and Curtis's Treehouse. I guess we need to work on when we're going to be recording that episode because we have Attack the Block. It follows in 8th grade coming up.
Radio.
The folder's been updated. All the movies are in there.
I did start watching one of them.
Okay. And I believe I put Midsommar on there because Duke was talking about that one.
I saw that in there.
I think he wants us to watch it. So
that's the movie that he's saying he almost threw up.
Yeah,
something in there that's pretty vile.
And he likes the Vavitch, and that's kind of a out there movie. So I'm wondering. And then Curtis was asking about that Hulu movie that I put in there. Can't remember the name of it.
The what?
It was
Space Jam. I know he likes that Space Jam.
No, it wasn't Space Jam. Hold on, let me open the folder.
I did see something else in there.
I almost bought a Google Chromebook instead of a PC because the Chromebook comes with 100 gigs of Google Drive space. Mm-hmm. So just think of all the Fandango movies I could put in there with 100 gigs instead of wrestling with this 15 gigs.
Oh, if you want to do a service for the community.
Yeah, well,
at your own expense.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll talk about that in a bit, too. About my own expense. Palm Springs. That was the movie. Palm Springs. So you can go ahead and check that out, too, if you want. It's all in the folder. It's a Hulu movie in the States. So if you're Canadian, you can't. Yeah, I don't think we get. I'm not sure if we get Hulu here in Canada. All right.
That's the house cleaning, huh? That's everything.
Next month we'll be doing Netflix movies. Listener suggestions are
Oh, did we get
welcome.
any of those?
We did in Discord, and I don't. Oh, you know what? I'll look on my phone. I don't think I have Discord on this computer. I didn't put it back on here, so I had to reset my computer a few weeks ago. We did. DJ Chew, DH13, our friend, our pal. Oh, first of all, Frantic Society Josh wants me to watch Fast and the Furious for some reason. He's really hell-bent on me watching that movie. I don't know why.
It's really cool, man.
It's like you watch Sharknado, but you won't watch Fast and the Furious? What's wrong with you?
Keep an open mind.
Sharknado was like a goof. I had a few friends over and we watched Sharknado and we said, man, this movie's so bad. Let's have
You
fun.
gotta do the same thing.
I gotta do that with Fast and the Furious now? Well, first of all, no one's allowed over. We're still
You do your what is it? Together apart. What we're doing right now. What you've been doing on a weekly basis
with this
for 6 years. Yeah.
Where the heck is this thing? I'm in game deals. Get me out of this.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me hold on. Let me find this. He wrote a big long thing here. Well, you asked.
Right. Sure
the Old
did.
Guard. That's his recommendation. The Old Guard.
That's the new thing that shows up on the screen when I click on Netflix.
Well, that could be one. That's an option right there. The Old Guard.
So did he just like turn on Netflix and pick the first thing he saw?
He watched the first thing he saw at least, and he said he watched it.
Okay.
So,
Well, that's a sci-fi movie.
I don't know. I have no idea what it is. He says it's best not to know. Just go in fresh. Don't ask questions.
Okay. Well, it's the front runner right now.
Right now, it's number one.
We officially have a podcast with one movie.
One movie. What's this? Ryan says, I hear there's a change in how they do the movies, starting with Fast and the Furious 4. Well, I don't know. All I know is I've watched a little bit of the first one a bajillion years ago, and at the time, anyways, I was way too cynical for that kind of movie. And then recently, there was that Fast and the Furious with the submarine, and they were racing a submarine, and it was all CG effects, and it looked terrible to me. So I don't know.
How many of them? There's been like 8 or 9 movies.
At least, and their hubs and shaws and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah. The spinoff. Well, apparently there was a lot of anxiety on the set. A lot of actors not getting along.
Is
so
that
they just took whoever makes the most money, whoever's the biggest name from them, they pick them out. Like The Rock is in those movies now.
Yeah, he wasn't even in the original ones, right? He came in at some point.
No, for me, from what I know, I haven't seen any of them. It was a Vin Diesel vehicle, right? He was in maybe the first one, and then I think they started like it was somewhat like what's the word I'm looking for?
You're saying The Rock and Vin Diesel.
Rock versus Vin Diesel. I heard. Oh, I did see some clips of that. They were saying like they couldn't even look each other in the eye, so they had to film scenes where their characters are looking away from each other.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know, but I think it was like they didn't really tie. Not every movie tied together. Like it was just a different movie with different characters and cars or something. And then they brought it back and made it like this. There's some kind of family that races cars together. We got to watch them now. We got to figure this out.
See, I tried to explain it too. I said, I understand. Like you guys grew up with these movies, and they come out when you're young and you're impressionable, and you love them. I said that it would be like me telling you guys to go out and watch Dukes of Hazzard, and you guys probably wouldn't care for it because you didn't grow up with it. And then they all started saying,
racist.
And then they all started saying how much they loved the Dukes of Hazzard. So I can't win. And Dukes of Hazzard are not racist. They have a racist symbol on their car.
I
think
it's kind of tough to defend that now.
I think that's what's going on. Right now, I follow John Schneider's or Schneider, John Schneider. I follow his YouTube channel, and he's all pro Trump, and uh, he's like he's always defending that Confederate flag and saying how it's not racist, and I'm like, it kind of is. It
It's the
really,
Confederate battle flag, and it was
that's
only used after the southern states wanted to secede from the Union because they wanted to continue to use slavery for their farming.
I mean,
And
I
that's kind of
understand.
why it started.
I understand. Like growing up in the '80s, it was like a rebel thing, right? Like you were a rebel.
Right.
That's
Standing up against authority.
the man, right? Yeah, that's what it was, and that's what it meant to a lot of people. But then when you look at the history of it, it's like, well, it actually means this, and I understand that you feel that it about it this way, and you felt about it this way for a long time, but it really is hurtful
Its
to a lot of people.
origins
And,
are dirty.
yeah, and it really needs to
It's
just
like if you took the swastika and tried to repurpose that.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's got a tainted history.
I mean, the swastika started off. It was like an Indian symbol or something like
Yeah.
that Hitler took and said, "Oh, I like that. I want to use that." But
Yeah, the swastika is actually used on Japanese maps. It's not. I think it's like a reverse, but it's used to mark things on maps, and it looks very strange to me. But
yeah.
it's been used for a very long time.
Well, in India too, it's not slanted. It's straight. Like there's the bottom and top are like
Right. There are a lot of symbols that have been multi-purposed, different cultures and stuff. And sometimes it is just, it was designed and it happens to be a very similar design. And I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
It's tough to put a Confederate flag on things now and just expect a neutral reaction.
I don't think there's any excuse for it unless you're running a museum. That's it. That's your only excuse. Like this is a museum.
Right.
Come and learn your history. Come and learn the mistakes that people have made. But there's no way that should be used in any way to glorify anything.
I don't think you're going to be getting any General Lee model kits anymore.
Well, the ones that are out, they have like that little, like they cover up the roof with like a
Do
little.
they?
Yeah, like you can't when you go buy it in the store, like it's covered up with either like a piece of post-it note that the store might have done it themselves, or like you can't. The photos that they'll use to show it will not show the roof, and then when you open it up, it's
I imagine maybe they can get around it like that, or just it wouldn't be displayed, but of course, model kit you can paint it however you like.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
Maybe they would give you little stars and things to help you design it.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, now that we solved the racist problem, and solved racism everywhere, we fixed it. What's Sid City's social club?
Wow. Do you remember the what's it called? The seventh seal, seventh guest, seventh the Nog and Jake podcast that was on that. I don't know why it came up. I wasn't looking for anything, but I guess I just get a lot of Star Trek stuff filtered through my YouTube, and I came across what was it called? Sid City Social Club.
That's what it says here, yeah.
Which is the Alexander Siddig, Siddig El Fadil, the actor who played Julian Bashir on DS9. He has his YouTube channel, and I just came across it. And now don't bother going to look it up because it's not as interesting to look at it as it's moderately interesting to discuss. That's about it. But it was an interview. It looked like an interview between him and Garrick, Andrew Robinson. And so I was like, oh, okay, cool. And it looked fairly recent. It was titled something like Alone Together, one of those things. I was like, sure, why not? Let me see. I click on it, and immediately it starts off with a narrative. There's some other guy narrating, like telling the background of a story, and then no introduction of the actors. They just start as their characters. It's just Garrick and Bashir having a dialogue. And it goes on and on and on. It was like 30, 40 minutes. I was watching it for like 10 minutes before I had to like pause it and check what's going on. And apparently it's just what he does. They sit around and some of his videos are just him talking and having on other DS9 people or Star Trek people. And then sometimes he just does these monologues in character where they have a long dialogue.
So even the interviews are in character?
No, like I think when like he'll have a video where it's, hey, it's me, and we're gonna talk to some people today, and I'm gonna answer your questions about DS9, Star Trek, and all that. And then other times it'll just be some in character thing. I just saw another one was up there with Jake Sisko, and they do a thing. So, and
Does he
apparently I had to check this also. The seventh Rule podcast with Jake and Nog.
Yes.
Apparently is still continued without him.
Yeah,
I assume that they were just done. But I just looked at their video playlist and they got a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. More Star Trek actors doing fairly poor quality internet YouTube channel stuff. Well, I don't know why none of them understand that they could just buy a microphone. Everything is all echoey and
it's I don't know. Well, a lot of talent, as we call in the business, we call them talent. Just they're not technical minded at all.
Right, they always have some other third person there who's supposed to be their producer,
do something
and helping
for
them
them.
out.
Yeah.
Plug in a mic. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, does Dr. Bashir, does he talk about Game of Thrones at all? Because he was on that show as well. Is that part of it?
I don't know.
Haven't seen. Okay.
No.
I'm pretty sure
I clicked on that one video and I was like just listening to it, and then it started in this whole character thing, and it's like, okay, it's cool. I paused it, I was like, I got 30 more minutes of this. Which, I don't know. It's for those who are out there. He does allow people on his show. Like, if you wanted, you could apply to be on his show, and you could ask him questions.
I would have no idea what to ask him, other than...
You could ask him Game of Thrones questions.
No, because he was like really just a king that kind of sat in the background and didn't really have too much to say or do. So... the only thing I would ask him is like, why would they make Dr. Bashir a superhuman and keep that hidden for the first 3-4 seasons? Why did they hold off on
that? It wasn't hidden. It was written in later.
Yeah, this doesn't make any sense to me. And how about those episodes? Remember when he had like his crazy friends? Like he went to go and volunteer at an insane asylum. He had crazy friends, and the first episode was pretty good, and then they brought those characters back, and it just didn't work like the second and third.
I saw the one where he had his video where he had Cyril Lofton on, Jake Sisko, and I just kind of jumped to the middle of it just to see what they were talking about, and he was in the middle of saying something like, my character was always reviewed terribly, and I'd get all these notes, saying, nobody likes your character and this and that. So I imagine they were just trying to create a lot of interesting stuff for him to make him more appealing.
Yeah.
And that's what they came up with.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just unfortunate, because if they would have came out with that right at the beginning, I think that would have been just so much better.
Well, I think at the beginning he was just supposed to be the young, idealistic doctor who's ready to make a change, and then he finds himself in this kind of terrible situation, this garbage assignment aboard this old station.
Yeah. Speaking of Star Trek actors, I wanted to mention Robert Picardo, because Curtis sent us that video of, I don't know it was like some country dude or something.
George Miller, something.
Yeah. But apparently he was Curtis was in the video with the guy who passed away that was on Mythbusters. I only watched Mythbusters like sparingly, like just once in a while, mostly on clips on the internet, like when they would disprove something. So I only really knew the two main guys. There's Adam Savage and the guy with the mustache. Those are the only two guys that I know.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
I don't know anyone else on that show. But apparently that guy was really beloved. He was really liked and he passed away. So rest in peace. But anyway, so Kurt sent us that because he was in that video with him. But he actually acts with Robert Picardo. Like they have scenes together and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
I'm curious if this was his first collaboration or a second collaboration. I know they've worked together a few times.
I do like it though when like secondary characters in that when they use the actor's real name, so the main cast doesn't have to remember like another name. They don't have to like, remember both like your stage name and your real name. They could just focus on one. That's always my favorite.
Well, yeah, because in the video, Curtis is Curtis.
It's Curtis, right? Yeah,
and he does a wonderful job. I really enjoyed that video.
It was a funny video. I enjoyed. It. I wasn't like the song was okay, but I thought their bits was funny. It was a funny idea for a video. That Robert Picardo, I enjoy him. He's a really good actor, man.
Curtis is living my dream. I would love to share air quotes with Robert Picardo.
I love the hair too. The wig, it reminded me a lot of Inner Space.
Inner Space, Gremlins too. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, Gremlins too as well. I wish. It's making me want to go back and check out China Beach because he was on that show, and I never watched it when I was a kid. I had no interest.
I don't know what that is. What is China Beach?
It was like a drama from the late '80s that was always, highly like it always won awards and stuff, but it never had like huge ratings. It always just did okay in the ratings, but it was always like reviewed very well. And I believe it's about the Vietnam War. I believe they are. It's kind of like MASH. They are medical doctors, I think, in the war. I think that's what it's about. But
Jason Charles Miller, Uncountry official video.
Go check it out. Jason Charles Miller.
It's the Curtis video.
Right. Although if they type in the Curtis video into YouTube, they might not find it.
That's what it should be called.
I agree. Okay, I want to make an announcement that Retro Fandango, the show that you're watching right now, or listening to, is now on Anchor. We have moved to Anchor. So congratulations.
Yay!
Yeah. Oh,
Look at you. I want to say thank you because you are a beast at taking care of this stuff.
Did nothing. I did not have to do a
physically took
thing.
hundreds and hundreds of recordings and transferred them to this new platform.
That is the beauty of the future. See, that's what we had to do in the past. Remember when we moved the show from Podomatic over to Podbean with the Cartridge Club? And then when we moved off the Cartridge Club feed, we had to move it to our own Podbean feed. And that was like hundreds of episodes that we had to go through. And
we didn't even have all of them. We had to get some recordings. Yes. I believe Derek had to find old recordings.
Right. Yes. Those were the crazy archaic times. Now things are so easy. So I was like dreading having to move all these over to archive, and our friend Society Josh, who's a little obsessed with the Fast and the Furious movies, but he also comes up with a good idea once in a while, and he says, "Why don't you use this Anchor service?" There's another podcast that he listens to with it's either Rusty Lewis or Russ Lyman, one of the Russes, that took his show and easily moved it over to this Anchor. So basically all I had to do was sign up for it using our Fandango account and then just move it over. So right now the show is just cloned over onto Anchor. So it exists both on Podbean and on Anchor. So then I'm going to do this episode. I'm going to post it onto Podbean and see how long it takes to clone over to Anchor. And if everything seems to be smooth in that, I have until August the 8th, or no, sorry, August the 9th to do it. So to move everything over before we're charged again. So it was a very smooth transition so far, but I'll keep you updated for the next time when your Podbean dues come up and you want to think about moving to a free service. Now there is a little bit of risk with this too, because Anchor right now is completely free, and I think they're relying on the podcasts that move over to them for free hosting to monetize the show, and they take a cut of the monetization.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I'd be perfectly okay monetizing the show by keeping it out there for free, like if people want to pay for it or whatever. If you want to, I think if you want to send money, but I'm not at that stage yet or anything like that, or they haven't asked us to monetize or anything, but I think that's what they're hoping for. But there is a chance that it might go under at some point, and then we would have to move everything to archive.org. But as for right now, it's working, seems to be working okay. So.
Well, bravo. Thank you for doing the lifting.
I didn't have to do anything. It was nice. It did it all for me. It was so cool. It just moved everything for us. There was a couple episodes I had a problem with, and I said, okay, we'll try again. And it pushed them over okay after I hit try again. And free.
Criticized already.
Oh, I'm pretty sure the wheels are turning in Bill's head when he hears the word free. So give it a shot. If you do it right now, it'll just clone. You can go so far as to only clone the show, so it exists on both platforms. And then when you're ready to goodnight the Podbean, it'll put everything on there. And it also updates. Apparently, I haven't got this far yet, but it'll also update all of your links to Google Play and iTunes and Stitcher and Spotify, all that stuff. It'll do it all automatically. It just assigns this new address to it that you don't need to resubmit to all the services, and the listeners do not need to subscribe to a new feed. Technology, man, it's crazy. I mean, look at this. The StreamYard is happening. Friggin' Anchor, move your stuff over here, no problem. Like technology, man. Where was this stuff 5 years ago? Would have been so awesome to have.
Yeah, you need to get a producer position over in that seventh guest sealed.
They need somebody.
Podcast.
They do need some help over there. Well, I got to thank Society Josh for recommending that, because.
And then you trash his favorite movie.
Look, this is the way it works. Okay, if you're gonna harp on me to watch something and I don't want to watch it, I'm gonna trash it. That's the way it works. Yes, Bill, it is crazy. I couldn't believe it myself until I started doing it, and it works. So go check it out. See if it'll work for you.
Finding the gold in the internet, you are.
But again, the risk is that it's a free service for now, and a lot of these services come and go. So you never know if one day they'll be like, "Oh, we're bankrupt. See you later." So, we have all of our shows backed up on hard drives. So if that ever happens, we could still just go to archive.org. We would have to start from scratch, but the beauty of doing this, though, too, is that you can just tell everybody on here where the new feed is. So, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who's going back into our old episodes anyway?
It's really weird. That is one nice thing about Podbean, is it will tell you what past episodes people listen to. Like the Star Wars one still gets hits once in a while for some reason.
We do Star Wars?
Yeah, we did.
Oh yeah, we watched the movies. Okay.
Yeah. We watched. We did the non.
Right. It had a name, but those. The one with the name.
The ones that are not dicked around with by George Lucas, whatever those ones are called.
Despecialized.
Despecialized edition. That's it. Yeah, that one still gets hits once in a while. And then there's God bless you to the guy that just keeps going, and you'll just see old episodes keep getting hits once in a while. I don't know who's going back and listening to those, but go for it. It's nice. I don't think we'll get that kind of feedback with Anchor, but we don't really need it. I think I could keep track of 34 people. I don't need Podbean to do it for me.
Well, I know we're going to get a lot of hits for many years to come on this episode, because I'm about to talk about Enterprise.
Oh, man. Here we go.
Stand back.
So did you start up the series again?
I've been meaning to revisit it. Now, I haven't watched it since, I guess it's been about 20 years. Came on in the early
Mhm.
2000s.
How far did you make it back in the early 2000s?
um, Probably not very far. Maybe within, watch the first couple of episodes, wasn't quite feeling it. I'd check in from time to time. I certainly didn't watch any of the, like into the third and fourth season. Um, Outside of catching the odd trailer here and there, I have no idea what happened. But it was never, it never really grabbed me. But in recent years, the whole spectrum of Star Trek television has changed. So
Mhm.
I figured, maybe I should go back and take another look. So I'm a few episodes in, and the show has its issues. It has its weaknesses. The whole body gel thing, all
Yes.
that.
What episode was that?
I believe that was in the first or second episode
Oh.
where it just came in. Well, here's the thing. After Next Generation, they go to DS9. They try to change up the formula a little bit.
Well, actually, it was during Next Generation. They
During
overlapped.
Next
A little
Generation,
overlap
yes,
there.
okay. They started changing up the formula a little bit, make it a little different, a little darker, a little more edge, a few more conflicts. You go to Voyager, and then they start going into, let's add a little bit more sex appeal. Let's add a few more explosions, and try to broaden the audience. And then they go to Enterprise, and now they're kind of at the point where it's like we just need more Star Trek. We're not writing a show so much as we're putting Star Trek out there. We got to keep continuing it. We got to broaden our audience. We got to get more hits. Got to make it a little easier for people to dive into. So you get the skin tight uniforms. You get a lot more shirtless scenes, and you get the oils and stuff. They're doing their thing. So it's got its weaknesses and its faults for trying to just get cheap ratings. But when you compare it to what you're getting on CBS All Access now, where they
Yeah.
have completely abandoned what Star Trek is supposed to be about and just going into what's going to get ratings, and we'll slap the Star Trek logo on top of it. Enterprise at least still has somewhat of a connection to the core idea, and the characters they're written with those classic core values to a point. They do get into a lot of petty arguments and things like that. But long and short of it is, it's not that bad. It's not unwatchable. It's not insulting like a lot of contemporary stuff. It's just weak. And I can either stick my nose up in the air and over exaggerate the weaknesses and just wave my finger at it, or I could sit down and watch it and try to get some enjoyment out of it. And there is enough there for a casual watch. It's certainly not going to eclipse the other series, but
Is it better or worse than Voyager?
that's what I'm debating right now. I think I like it a little bit more than Voyager because it is different. At the time, the whole shock of, oh, they're going back and they're rewriting history and they're going before Kirk and saying there's another Enterprise. The shock of that has worn off a long time. That was a big thing when it came out. Like, how dare you go back and
Mm.
rewrite it? And that's all they're
Yeah.
doing now. But
I was actually supportive of that idea because I thought it was pretty cool that they would go back and be like a problem with Star Trek is like so many episodes have plot holes
mhm,
because I mean, how many planets can you go to and there's a storm and the transporters don't work or whatever, they keep falling into those
mhm,
tropes and that. So going back to a time when there were no transporters, okay, like that gives them something a little different to work with. But when I started watching the show, to me, it was just so poorly written, and it did still fall into like too many tropes. Like I think I remember I thought it was the gel thing when I started watching it, but if it was episode 1 or 2, I must have watched a little more than that, because I remember there was an episode where there's something going on the ship, and the only whatever it was, like whatever disease it was or whatever, the only person that wasn't affecting was T'Pol, because she's a Vulcan, and it was, whatever it was only affecting the humans. And I'm like, okay, how many times have I seen this before? You know, that's same thing happened to Spock, same thing happened to Data. I mean, same thing, the Doctor is the only one, you know, on Voyager, because he's a hologram. It's like, okay, it's this thing again. Really, that's when I stopped watching it.
You figure, well, that's also the thing, is how many times can they recycle the same idea? And within the style of the show and everything, you are going to fall back on similar things, because they need those one episode arcs. You know, it was the episodic nature where it's like, we need a new situation, and you're doing 22 episodes a season. You're going to run into the same ideas over and over and over again. And maybe you might have stopped very early, because either the third or fourth episode, whatever I just watched, there was a situation where they go down to a planet and they're affected by some hallucinogen, and the humans are affected to a higher degree than T'Pol.
Right. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, so it must have been 3 or 4 episodes in.
So she got a little affected by it, but it's the same thing.
And the intro was terrible. Theme song.
I like the intro. I really like it. It was strange at first, but no, I'm definitely supportive of that intro.
Never a fan of that.
No, I don't expect you to watch it, enjoy it, or anything like that. I just decided to give it another shot, and you know, it's not as bad as all the exaggeration is. It's just a weak casual watch.
I do want to give it another chance. Like, part of me does, but I mean, I tried giving Voyager another chance. That didn't work out. But I did try I gave Deep Space Nine another chance, and I would say at least 80% of that worked out. So
yeah. Well, as much as, you know, Trekkies like to defend the original series and Next Generation, they had their weak moments too.
Sure.
You say that something, you know, Voyager, Enterprise, whatever, maybe they've got some fundamental flaws, some things that are kind of broken from the beginning. They all needed to find their footing.
I mean, all the series had. I mean, even the original series, yes. I mean, they had bad episodes. I mean, the third season of the original series is pretty much all bad.
Takes a lot of heat, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much like all terrible ideas. Spock's brain is like the worst episode. Like, it is terrible. But the good really shines, you know, and the characters are still, like, to me, you got to give me some characters, you know, that I can. And I just was not getting any of that out of Enterprise.
That's probably one of the biggest weaknesses of Enterprise, the characters. Archer doesn't really pop out. If anything, he seems a little too bumbling and a little too casual to be captain of a starship. And T'Pol, like, first few episodes, I don't know if they change it up, but her Vulcan acting comes across as extremely critical and like enjoying the fact that she can put everybody in their place. So it's,
well, that was supposed to be the early Vulcan human relationship, right? Like, they were just two
that
new
I'm not
species.
really a fan of, that they're constantly at odds, and the humans are bitter against the Vulcans for kind of keeping them back and holding their hands too much. So I'm hoping it just kind of finds a little better footing as it goes on.
Well, apparently, like, there are, like, the later seasons. I think it only lasted 3 seasons. So 4. I think 4. Okay, so I think at least season 3 and 4, they have, like, there's like a overarching story throughout the whole season, I think, from what I know. So I don't know.
I know at some point they did an episode where they were in the classic Trek uniforms. I think it was like they go into the future to the Kirk time.
Like Deep Space Nine did, where they went.
I'm just remembering commercials from years back. So you'd have to ask Steven. I'm pretty sure he's gone through.
Yeah, I think he watched them all.
Or Kyle. Yeah. That's the other thing, though. This series seems to be kind of the missing link between like how did they get to this Discovery and Picard style
Hmm.
compared to the original. It's like they're kind of halfway there
Hmm.
with Enterprise. They didn't go so far to the point that it's just what it is
Well,
now.
even the movies too. I mean,
Yeah,
the Picard that's in this TV show now is the movie Picard.
movie Picard, action
Is movie
Picard.
Picard, yeah, action star Picard, which you could argue that is the how the character evolved. He went from like which is just stupid, doesn't make any sense. Anyways,
Yeah.
let's say Rocket Sauce is ready to hang himself because he's been listening to us talk about Star Trek for way too long. So
I'll
let's
give you
move
my
on.
last controversial opinion, and then we'll move on.
Last hot take of Enterprise. Here we go.
I like the ship.
Yeah, it's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay. I think
I like the design.
if I like the show better, I think I would like the ship better. But it doesn't
That's true.
really like what I like about the original Enterprise is that it has that like it just how it fills the screen, right? It has that rule of thirds.
It kind of has an up and a down, where this
Right.
one is largely flat.
The only like the original Enterprise, the only thing it doesn't work is like when you look at it head on, it doesn't really work that well as a visual thing.
Any of them really. I mean, but the original Enterprise, at least you could shoot in profile.
Yes.
And it looks nice.
Yeah.
This one always has to be at an angle.
And that's why in the show, they always shot it at an angle or on the side. They never really shot it coming at you head on. I don't think they ever did, actually. Sometimes behind or whatever. But
apparently the producers of the show originally didn't want them to be in space at all for the first season. They wanted it to be like a build-up of them preparing to go out and getting everything ready. And they weren't supposed to have transporters or phasers.
Right.
That was all the executives or whoever said, no, we need that because that's what people know is Star Trek. So you have to put it in there. And so they were using it pretty early on. They still had like their general rule. We're not supposed to use it on people.
Yeah.
But then I'm a couple episodes in, they've already done it twice on people. So it's like,
so that idea went nowhere.
So a little interference may have tampered with the potential of the show as well.
Yeah. All right. So you watched the movie Joker?
I did. I thought, I watched a few movies, but I figured that would be the one that got the most interesting.
Getting clicks. I can hear all the clicks. It's clicks.
Joker. We watched Joker. I keep wanting to say the Joker.
It's just Joker? It's not the Joker?
Yeah, it's just Joker. It doesn't sound right. I watched the Joker. I watched Joker.
I don't make up these titles. All right. So what did you think of Joker?
Well, it's certainly one of the more interesting and engaging comic book movies that I've seen in recent past. Certainly from the DC side of things. It's a good movie. It's done very well, and I'll get the basic stuff out of the way. Joaquin Phoenix, great performance. Really, really strong performances by everyone. Love his run.
Not great. I think De Niro was under.
De Niro was a little just.
He was fine. He
was there for his scene. He didn't add anything to it.
Well, and I think he was there because. Sorry to interrupt, but I think he was there because I don't know if this is the connection or not, because King of Comedy is a fairly unknown movie, but there's a lot that Joker rips off from that movie. Like in King of Comedy, De Niro plays a guy who kind of goes a little cuckoo and goes after a guy who's on TV, and Joker does the same thing. So I don't know if that's why they wanted to use him or not. Some people believe it is, but anyways.
I'm out. How sorry, Bill.
Oh, see you, Bill. We talked about Joker.
I might
wanted
get
more Star Trek
here. Sorry.
You want to get...
Murray Franklin. It was inspired. Okay. So anyway, good performances all around. De Niro thing. Shot very well. really, I like the look of the film.
Mhm.
They're going for a 1970s vibe. They even went so far as to use the retro Warner Brothers logo at the
Mhm.
beginning, which was
Yep.
cool to see.
The music too. Rock
Good
and roll.
setup for the
Gary Glitter.
city, that there's like this garbage strike and people are kind of getting angry. It was like a really nice little bit of world building
So
that you see.
Ghostbusters 2 setup.
Yep. Yeah, the angry city, right.
Yep.
All we needed was the slime, the pink slime. I was playing some Ghostbusters yesterday
Which one?
on the 360, the
Oh, nice.
Ghostbusters video game.
Right on.
I may have to buy
The
the
Epic Games.
revised
Yeah.
version because same problem twice in a row. As in the beginning, we're playing. This is my Joker talk, where we're at the Sedgwick Hotel,
Yeah.
and you're fighting like these bellhop ghosts, and there are three of them, and I caught two of them, and then third one's gone. I'm walking around, and like the story's not progressing because I haven't caught the third ghost, and he just kind of disappeared from the game.
Oh,
So
yeah.
everyone's just standing there. So I
Yeah.
reset it, go back to the save point, catch them, and then catch all three ghosts. We walk out into the lobby. I'm there with the other Ghostbusters. They're all assembled in a circle, and I can see the hotel manager down the hallway, and he's supposed to come out, but he's not. He's just standing there. So I was like, okay, I got to do this again. I had to reset it to the checkpoint again, and so, come on, game.
Is your
Work with me here.
Xbox, is your 360 hooked up to the internet? Are you getting the?
Yeah, it is.
So you got the updates and that. So yeah.
Yeah,
So you haven't
I don't know. I think I may just have to splurge that $5
Yep,
next time it goes on sale.
Next time.
So what was I talking about with Joker?
Joker. It looks like the 70s. They're all dressed
Looks like the 70s.
Angry City.
Angry City. Well written for the most part and everything. Here's long and short of it. For the most part, I enjoyed the movie. The parts that took me out of the movie the most was every time they mentioned something about comic books. I got taken out of the movie. I kind of wish this was not a Joker movie or in the DC universe at all, because I thought it was interesting enough in its own that they were just doing more of a character study. So I wish they had just called it Joker and borrowed from that. But every time I heard the words Gotham City or Wayne, when they start introducing the Wayne family into this movie, it's just like nosedive. It just completely tanked for me.
It takes place in that universe, right?
I know.
Okay.
I know, but because it's so different, because they're approaching it in a realistic manner, especially as soon as he's tearing a picture out of the newspaper where it's got the picture of Thomas Wayne, and I could see in the picture, oh, there's little baby Bruce right there. They better not show him. The immediate next scene is like Bruce Wayne standing in his yard, and Joker comes up and is like pulling his face and everything. It's like, no, this is bad. This is really bad. So fast forward to the ending, little predictable.
There was an ending?
Yeah.
I remember there was only like 2/3 of a movie. And I'm like, where's the rest?
Get to the ending. Well, yeah, it's like you said it before when you talked about it. It's like he becomes the Joker. That's the ending. So when the talk show is the part I'm talking about, you see it coming a million miles away. You know what's going to happen, and it doesn't happen the way that they've shown you it's going to happen, but then you know it's still going to happen. Aside from that, again, the part that really, I was like, do you have to show this? They have to go into the alleyway of the theater. You got to see the pearl necklace going again.
No one's ever seen this before. It needs to happen.
So like all of that stuff, I just felt like was shoehorned in. Maybe, I don't know if the filmmaker wanted it, if the
Probably
executive said, no, you got to do that.
More Batman references.
More references, and we got to be able to set up an possible sequel here. So overall, I thought it was okay. I'm not going to be in a rush to watch it again. I really enjoyed his performance, though. It's worth watching for that alone. But as it's good. It's it's potentially great in some parts, but then other parts goes away. Now I know what you're going to say, so let's debate the whole mental illness issue.
That was okay. So to refresh anyone's memory, that's my huge. I got actually two issues with the movie. Number one, I can't stand movies where I cannot trust the author. I hate that. I hate it when a movie is telling me a story and then it's like, well, did this happen or didn't it? It feels like that dumb, like Wayne's World joke where they go and visit Madonna in a dream and then they wake up and they're like, oh, it didn't happen. It was all a dream. Or did it? And they hold up like, I don't know, Madonna's panties or something like that. I just can't stand like that. His girlfriend that was there or not really there or not. And you don't know because you can't trust what the Joker's telling you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can't stand that thing. So that's my number one problem with it. And number two, I cannot stand how it portrays mental illness. It's a real old Hollywood cliche that people who have mental illnesses are just going to go bananas and kill everybody if they're not watched all the time and are on their medication all the time. And it just really does a disservice to all. And it's great that we're having this conversation after just watching One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, because like that movie and the electroshock therapy thing that set that treatment back 30 years, Joker had the potential of setting back, and it really does. Like, it's just how Hollywood portrays things really does affect how people think about these things. And it's just another one that just falls under those tropes. So,
yeah, well, I'll disagree with you to a point. I think the movie does do a good enough job of creating an individual rather than just like a blanket statement of mental illness. This is what will happen.
Sure.
They do spend a lot of time working on Arthur, his character, and they kind of go out of their way, almost to a fault, to create this perfect storm Joker, where they give him every possible reason why he could become the way he is.
Like losing his job.
You've got mental illness. You've got him being taken off of his medication. You've got him caring for his mother, who was also mentally ill. You've got him losing his job. You've got him searching for his dream, but then being criticized by his hero. You've got the angry city. You've got him unable to have a relationship with any other individual. You've got him being betrayed by someone that he works with. You've got him being attacked multiple times in the city. You've got like everything going on for him to be building up this stress and anger at the world around him. So I think they purposely did it so that you can't just pinpoint and say like, oh, you're saying mental illness. No. Look, we got all these other things.
Yeah.
We got all this other stuff. So they do a good job, maybe overdone.
I don't know. I found it the whole thing just ham-fisted. Like it just did not. I don't know.
Go even further, and then you find out that he's adopted, and then there's some vagueness there. Well, what age was he adopted? What were his original parents like? Did he have some other thing? He had child abuse also on there, with him being beaten by his mother's boyfriends and things. So you got the whole spectrum.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's just such a cliche that I mean, people do actually go through all these things and actually do turn out fine. They have their problems, all that stuff, It's
right,
just,
but again,
it's just
it's
cliche.
An individual. It's an individual. There are people that end up fine.
It's just a cliche to portray yet another individual in Hollywood in a big motion picture going through this again. It's just like this isn't just a one-off movie. It's just it's a cliche. It's just a cliche. It's a trope that Hollywood goes to as a crutch consistently. And when you do it over and over again, it's like my dad used to say, like, for your diet, just eat a little bit of everything and you'd be okay. I mean, yeah, but Dad, when they put a little bit of sugar in this and a little bit of salt in this and a little bit of sugar in this and a little bit of salt in this and a little bit, if you're eating a little bit of everything, but at the end of the day, you're eating a whole lot of sugar and a whole lot of salt. And this is just another movie that, yeah, it only has a little bit of mental instability, but yet it's another movie that falls into that cliche.
Well,
And I only pick on the Joker because this is a movie that it's nominated. It got nominated. It was almost. It looked like it was might have won Best Picture. And
oh, we got that far. Huh?
I think so. It was like,
I knew he got the Oscar for the performance. I didn't know it was,
but it was nominated for Best Picture. Now it's a little watered down now because they used to only nominate 5 movies, and now I think they nominate anyone who has a brother who made a movie. It's nominated. Like I don't know, it's up to 9 or 10 now. It's ridiculous the amount of movies. So it probably would not have been nominated if the pool wasn't as big, or it was back to 5 movies. But still, I don't know. Anyways, that's just my hang up with the movie. I do agree with you 100% though that Phoenix was fantastic in it. I mean,
yeah, he had a lot to work with. He pulled a lot out. And I'm curious. He has a very distinct run in the movie, and I'm wondering if that was scripted, that he had a weird run, or if that was just part of his performance. And then the director's like, you know what, we got to add more hallways and alleys for you to run down, because there's so many scenes where it's like he gets something, he has to go all the way down.
Yeah. I just wish
Rocket Sauce saying the original ending had Joker killing baby Bruce in the alleyway.
So was this Joker
Tim Burton version?
Was this Joker never meant to be part of the Batman universe? Like,
I would have liked it if it were closer to that. Although I really, another thing that bothered me is the way that they decided to vilify Thomas Wayne and make him a jerk. Again, like if it were its own movie and just said, okay, we're calling it Joker, and it's going to be set in Gotham City, and we're just going to focus on him. Let's not talk about Batman. Let's not talk about the Waynes, and none of that. Just focus on this. It probably would have sat better with me, but every time I heard a comic book reference come up, I was really waiting for the woman that he was infatuated with, her daughter. I swore by the end of the movie that she was going to say, okay, let's go, Selena. And then that would be like Catwoman.
And here's I mentioned it before, but it's only 2/3 of a movie. It's an origin story, and that's it. There's nothing, like, he doesn't fight anyone, doesn't go up against anyone.
Okay with
There's
that.
no conflict.
I'm okay with that. You hear that criticism a lot of comic book movies, of how like the origin is the interesting part, and then you have like suddenly a villain appears, and you gotta challenge the villain.
I'm so sick of origin stories, unless it's a character that you haven't done yet. Like Shazam was fine, or Captain Marvel is fine. Like those characters have not been done yet, but we don't need another Joker origin story. Joker's been done already. Everybody knows who the Joker is. It's time to move away from the origin story and do something else.
This was an Elseworld Joker. Is that true? Is this like
an Elseworld,
the Kelvin timeline of the Batman universe?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I would have been fine with that. Like because I've never seen an origin story of the Joker, like aside from him falling in vat of acid. So
yeah, that's all you need to know. I mean, the cartoon did it.
It's kind of an interesting style.
Burton's movie did it. Did Heath Ledger's movie do it? I guess they didn't really dive into the origin, right?
No.
That's what made that movie so good. Just Joker. There he is. Go fight him. Don't need to know that he was adopted.
I'm okay with it. Again, I'm okay with it if they don't go into the other stuff. The movie for me couldn't really decide whether it was going to be a simple character study and just talk about an individual, or be a superhero movie and you have to have all the action scenes and I'm
not saying like have action scenes in that, but just have some sort of resolve or some sort of conclusion other than, well, he's a Joker now. Great.
I was fine with that.
Yeah, wasn't for me. All right, there we go. There's our split take on the Joker. I know I'm in the minority. I know everyone loves this movie because
I don't love it the way everyone else loves it.
Everyone loves it because
it's an okay movie. Some parts are really masterfully done in like cinematography and the performances. Really well done.
I agree. I mean, there are
It,
parts of the
it
movie
was
that
a
I
nice
really,
take on superhero-ness.
I just
It's
wish,
kind of like getting an interesting graphic novel where they just step aside
yeah,
from the main and just
yeah.
do
And I
something a
think
little
that's what
cool.
the inspiration was. You know, it was those kind of graphic novels that do, like, there's like, you know, tons of them. Like you got old Superman and old Batman going out there and
Hmm.
doing one. You know, there's tons that are like that. I'm sure that's what this was designed to be, but I just need a little bit more.
Yeah, I hope they don't try to tie this into that new Batman movie that they're making.
Oh yeah, the one with the car that everyone hates except for you and I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. I don't think so. I don't think it is, but you never know.
They'll make a new Joker for that one.
They might back up enough money, back back up the truck with enough money to Phoenix's door. Just dump it off there.
I don't know. They
Say,
need to
be in our
get Vin
Batman.
Diesel as the Joker in that one.
Fast and the Furious Batman.
Hmm.
Okay, we're already at an hour and 10. I'm just going to talk about one of these movies because I also read the book called the Mosquito Coast, and
Okay.
it's the book is about this guy who he's in Boston, and he just picks up his family and goes down to Honduras and starts living off the land. He's an inventor. He's a very creative guy and all that. But the interesting part of the book is that he doesn't really tell his family what he's doing. So every part of it is it's taken from one of his kid Charlie, from his perspective. And like his dad will just say, "Okay, we're going into the hardware store now." So he goes to the hardware store and he starts picking up all camping gear, camping equipment. And he has no idea what's going on. Like, what are we picking this up? But he can't bring himself to ask his dad because his dad will just like freak out on him. Like, what do you mean? You don't know what we're doing? Come on, let's go. just, and so he buys a bunch of camping equipment. Then next thing you know, they're moving out of the house. They're selling the house. He asks his mom, like, what's going on? What's happening here? She's like, she doesn't even know. She doesn't know what's happening. So everyone just follows this guy.
Hmm.
They're on the boat. They're on the boat. They have no idea where they're going. Charlie finds out from some other passengers that they're going to Honduras. He has no idea why they're going there, how long they're staying, nothing. So they finally get down there. They end up at a small town. They're like, okay, well, this small town's kind of dumpy, but we kind of make a living. Nope, that's not where we're going. That's not where we're staying. We're going out into the bush. We're going into the wild.
Hmm.
And the dad gets obsessed with things. So he invents this machine that can create ice out of fire. It's basically a refrigeration unit that
Okay.
uses fire to it doesn't use instead of electricity to power it.
Hmm.
And which brings ice to this area of the world that's never seen ice before, right? Or that's what he wants to do. That's his idea, is that he wants to bring ice to these people who've never seen it before. And he wants to be like this great, like basically a god among these people. Like he thinks like, if I go here and I'll be able to tell them anything, and that they'll just think I'm a god because I have all this knowledge and everything that they don't have. And it's a really crazy book. It's a really trippy book. I was reading it during the vacation. That as I'm reading this book, though, this inventor, his name is Ali Fox, and I'm thinking of this guy as like, just because he's a big, loudmouth guy. Like he's just very, just goes in and boasts about himself all the time. Like the guy, there's a boat that they hire to take him out into the woods, right? And the guy is just like the guy that owns the boat's like, yeah, sure, come on. And he's driving them, and Ali's like, okay, let me take over. I want to start driving the boat. And the guy's like, well, you don't even know where you're going. This is my boat. It's against regulations.
Hmm.
I'm the captain of this boat. And then that's where the chapter ends. Next chapter, Ali's driving the boat, and the guy's off like trying to catch fish or something like that off the side of the boat. Because that's how this guy is, just big and boisterous and pushes people around. So this movie the book is based on stars Harrison Ford. And as I'm reading the book, I'm
Hmm.
like, who the hell is Harrison Ford supposed to be? And it turns out that it is this character, Ali Fox, which is a complete miscast because Harrison Ford is like, his down key, like he's kind of low key in every scene, right?
Right.
He's kind of cool and calm. That's what he's good at. Not saying that's bad, but he doesn't really have too much range outside of that. He goes into an area and he just kind of sizes things up and does his thing. And the movie just doesn't really work that well. You know, everyone else is really cast really well. They had River Phoenix as the son. He was good. And Helen Mirren was his wife, which is good. And then just a bunch of other unknown actors are in it. And the movie was okay, but the book was so much better. It was, I'd put this movie up with like Ali Fox. The character was kind of like Holden Caulfield in what the heck's the name of that movie?
It's called Piece of Garbage.
Piece of Garbage.
Yeah,
the Holden
that's the
Caulfield
book you're
one?
thinking of. Yeah,
No, it's not called Piece of Garbage. What the heck's it called?
Catcher in the Rye.
That's it. Yeah. You didn't like that book?
I hate that book.
Why do you hate that book?
Because I hate that character.
See, that's what makes him great.
Oh,
I don't need to love a character to.
Did you see my gray hair? Look at my gray hair.
Yeah. See, that's I don't know.
Hate that book.
Anyways, I love that book, and so like this another character he's not a good character. Like he's not a nice person. He's terrible. He's sort of terrible, but I don't know. I like stories about terrible people. I do.
Mm.
And then they get their, you know, I don't know. I find them interesting. You know, that's what it is. It's more interesting than anything else for me.
You know what's interesting is Harrison Ford recommended River Phoenix to play the young Indiana Jones in Last Crusade because they worked together in that film, and he said, you know, hey, this kid's a good actor, and he kind of looks like me, so it's like, you know.
So River Phoenix was in The Last Crusade. He was the young.
He was the young Indy Jones. Yeah.
I don't remember. I remember young Indiana Jones and falling into the snake pit and all that, but I don't remember who the actor was. Okay,
that was River Phoenix. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So, I just want to say avoid the movie, and if you want to read an interesting book, give The Mosquito Coast a try. And it's written by Paul Theroux, who is the uncle of Justin Theroux, who's the guy who wrote Tropic Thunder.
I haven't seen that. And
was married to Justin Anderson, whatever the hell her name is. What's the Anderson haircut? What the heck's her name?
What?
Jay Anderson. Jennifer Anderson. That's it. I got there.
Okay.
He was married to Jennifer Anderson. Anyways, it's a good book.
All right.
I enjoyed it. Check it out.
So is that how the apes got ice in the Marky Mark Planet of the Apes?
No.
Remember that being a big thing when that movie came out. Everyone was criticizing, we're on the monkey planet, but they have ice in their drinks. How did they get the ice?
When they made it, monkeys can't make the monkey
planet.
planet.
They didn't have refrigeration or anything. So it was like, how'd they get ice in their drinks?
I never watched the movie. I always heard it was bad.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of the original ones, so.
Yeah, you don't need to go into that.
Yeah, so I'm not going to watch it.
The horses, too. People were wondering, how did they get the horses? Where did the horses come from?
Well, the planet is Earth, isn't it?
It's a little different. It's an Elseworld Kelvin timeline.
Oh, well, who would have guessed that?
Yeah.
Elseworlds, Planet of the Apes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hey, you know what? Since you and if Rocket Sauce is still here, I got exciting news. Last Blood finally opened in theaters here. I'm not sure if it's still playing because
can you go to the theaters?
I'm not. You can, but I'm not going to.
Good.
So maybe by the end of the year, I might be able to see Last Blood when it comes out on rental and stuff. I was surprised that too. Joker I saw on Netflix, and I thought that's fairly recent. Are they shrinking the time it takes for something to go to digital streaming?
I don't know. Maybe it's been a few months.
Yeah, I mean, but still, it was a 2019 movie. So I normally on Netflix you don't see things.
Well, they had Marriage Story was up there fairly quick.
Was that I thought that was an original Netflix original.
Well, it was in theaters. I don't know. Maybe Netflix threw some money at that movie. I don't know. Anyways.
Anyway, I am interested in seeing Last Blood when I get the chance.
You can pass on Tropic Thunder. There's one good scene you could look up on YouTube that's funny, and the rest is kind of like.
Oh, I heard good things, but yeah, I've never been interested in.
I was never a fan of it. I love Jack Black. Jack Black is one of my guys. I enjoy him. I don't know what the heck he's trying to do in that movie. I don't know what's going on. It was just, yeah.
Joker is on HBO Max in the States, but not Netflix.
They all have different rights and all that. I got my Joker from some pirates. They dropped it off here, and that's it. That's all I'm doing with that movie. Okay.
You're not going to go out and buy the Blu-ray and open it up on your channel?
No, I bought the 4K of Parasite, which is a much better movie, and the movie that won Best Picture. That's my recommendation.
Parasite. Oh, okay.
The Korean movie. That movie's fantastic.
I still don't really know anything about it.
Don't look anything up. Just go and watch it. Just watch it. I love that movie. Terrible people. They are terrible people. That's what makes that movie good. Terrible people are fun to watch. I wouldn't want to be with them. They're fun to watch. Follow Retro Fandango on Twitter at retro_Fandango. Get a boner with Retro Fandango. Get ready for some sound effects. If I can, I think they're all on my old computer, and I have to hook up that old hard drive now and pull them off there to get ready for it.
Major Kira.
And check out.
There's one for free.
That was pretty good. That was like spot on too. That sounded like I pressed the button. Check out Discord. Discord has been awesome this week. A lot of discussion over there, except for the Fast and Furious talk. I had enough of that. No more. And thank you, everyone, for not sending me squirrel gifts on Twitter, except for that one guy. You know who you are.
Derek.
You know who you are.
Derek.
I didn't say that.
What's with the squirrel gifts? I didn't catch the
squirrels are ruining my garden. The bastards. Oh. I finally got a cucumber to come in. It's coming in. It's doing this. Getting nice and big. Getting juicy. Yep. I'm like... Then the next day I went out there and it was eaten in half. Squirrels eat cucumbers, people. I've been getting a lot of peas, though. I got handfuls of peas.
Let's put some chicken wire around that.
Went out to get it. Actually, Sarah went out to get it for me. And sold out everywhere. She went to 3 places.
Well, what's the... everybody's hoarding chicken wire now?
I don't know. I think
it's new toilet paper.
I think it's the American government trying to keep people out of their country. So that's the southern wall that Trump's talking about. It's all chicken wire.
Only the squirrels will get through.
Got political at the end. All right, that's it. You got anything else to say?
Major Kira is a guest on the Sid City Social Club.
Now you make me want to watch this.
In her early 60s, still looks very cute. She's got a very attractive face.
What about her female buttocks?
I can't see them on the Zoom.
That's too bad. All right, that's it.
Country western bars need chicken wire.
Oh, that's right. Because
what does that mean?
They threw the beer bottles at the Blues Brothers. Remember?
Right. Okay.
Chicken wire. There you go. Although I don't think the bars are open. Are they open? I don't know. Who knows? All right, that's it. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Here I am. I'm in the show. Everybody can see and hear me. Is this how you're going to end the show from now on? You say goodbye, and then you just cut to me, and then you wait for me to say something?
I have to crash the plane. This is the right way to do it. If it was smooth, it just wouldn't work. All right, now I'm hitting the other red button. Goodbye, everybody.